Barak to Yahushai, Barak to Yahweh, Barak to Yahushai, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kadash. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great and Stonewall Well, and I can preaching the gospel of Hamashiach Yahushai throughout the four corners of the earth in sincerity and in truth. This is Brother Nash DC Cat with a short lesson to edify the hopeful elect. Yeah, so I just got a quick, short, and to the point lesson to keep Akim, just keep you, motivated and uplifted in the words of Hamashiach Yahushai, that your labors are not going to be in vain, all right? And what the Lord has put in store for you is it's no joke. It's something you look forward to, rulership, okay? So this is from the book of Deuteronomy. It tells you in verse 23 that start from 22, all right? So it says, if ye shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you, all right, the laws, statutes, and the wisdom of the Holy Scriptures, to do them, to love the Lord by Shema Shai, by Shema Kwakadash, your power, to walk in all his ways and to cleave unto him, right? So you be one, so you can be unified with the Lord, right? Be in the same agreement, be on the same page, all right? It says that then with the Lord Yahweh drive out all these nations before you, and ye shall possess greater nations and mightier nations than yourselves. That was the promise, and that was the condition of the contract, the condition of the covenant. When you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, the Most High is going to elevate you to a position where you're going to have dominion over these people. And a lot of people think it's far-fetched. And that's one thing, in this walk of ours that we talk about and we look forward to. But when you go to these churches in the world, you don't really hear much. They don't even touch the topic. All they do is just preach a prosperity doctrine, finances and properties. But when it's time for them to go go deep into the scriptures, they don't. All they do is just divert, and distract, and look for ways to get into people's pockets to have that fund. So that's how it is with Jake, man. Jake is not really looking forward to the kingdom of heaven, and the kingdom is basically the government, all right? The governing structure, the governing body, all right, that the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is going to set upon the face of the earth to carry out his will. And that's what, the men of the Lord are looking forward to. That believe in the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai. All right, it's a responsibility that you have to take note of when you're preaching the gospel, that you are being prepared to be a ruler. You've been prepared to be a lord. You've been prepared to be a judge, a king, a priest. All right? Someone that's going to have a lot of power, have so much power that the elites of this world can't imagine. Okay? And just like the scripture says, I have not seen nor ears heard what the Lord, Bashima Shai, Bashima Kadash, has in store for those that wait upon him. All right? And it's necessary, you keep this in mind. When you wake up in the morning, you pray that the Lord, sharpens your mind to accept what is said before you. Okay? All right, so this system is acting funny. But that's all right, it's part of the preaching the gospel. You're going to experience difficulties. All right? So, no problem with that. So I'm just going to, keep using what I got, because I have another device I could embark on. So I'm going to read from the book of Isaiah chapter 14. All right, it's that simple. All right, Isaiah chapter 14. It lets you know that says that for the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So the house of Jacob, or the house of Israel, will be brought back together. That's why you see the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans getting back together to preach the word of Hamashiach Yahushai, to preach the gospel, to declare the words of prophecy. All right, and all Israel that spread out throughout the four corners of the earth that are awakened to their true identity and responsibility, they're gonna be part of that unification, and that's what we're looking forward to. The mending of fences. Just like when the Lord's gonna gather the children of Israel that have been scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth, and that's what we're looking forward to. That's the building of the government. It's putting the government back together. It's building back the breaches. All right. And verse 2 says, "And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids." So our so-called, slave masters, they're gonna be, held captives too. They're gonna serve us. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what the men of the Lord are looking forward to. That's what the apostles are looking forward to. And the up and coming brothers, preaching the gospel in sincerity and truth, that's what they're looking forward to have dominion over the peoples and the nations they've served. All right, that are not of the nation of Israel. All right, Moabites, Ammonites, Ishmael, Japheth, Ham. All right, Aram, Ashur. All right, Elam. All right, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And that's a guarantee. When the Lord has spoken it, it's going to come to pass. And there's nothing that can change that. And I know the reason why the so-called Jew, Amalek, he wants to be an Israelite so bad, but he's not he's not going to accomplish, that desire to have the birthright, because it's not something that you could claim and it's going to come to fruition. It's something that's have to be bestowed upon you from above, and it's already been bestowed upon our nation. All right, the nation of Israel, consisting of the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans. All right, before the foundation of the earth. So there is no changing the mind of the Lord. All right, it's already set in stone. All right. And then you read the book of Psalms chapter 18. It tells you what you have to look forward to, because it's not a joke, when you're preaching this gospel, because you have to take on the sweet and the bitter. All right, you're being, put in a position to speak about what's going to happen in the future. So you can't run away from it. So this Psalms chapter 18 verse 40. All right, it says, "Thou hast also given me the necks of my enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me." So that's payback, that the Lord's gonna, grant to us, that favor to reward those that have come against us, that have come against the gospel of the Lord. And that's one thing that Yahweh Shai is gonna do. It's coming for the neck of his enemies. It's coming for the neck of the dragon. All right. And that's why, the dragon is pissed off. He's scared, he's nervous. You see the chariot showing up, and Esau's upset, man. He's shaking in his boots, he's in a rush. All right. So he's going to act out, he's going to lash out against the man of the Lord. So you have to expect, retaliation from these Edomites and these heathens against our people. All right. But the Lord is going to defeat them. All right. So it says in verse 41, "They cried, but there was none to save them, even the Lord, but he answered them not." So they could call on the Lord, but the Lord's going to, let them receive that that judgment. They're going to drink of that cup. That cup of trembling that the Lord, is taken out of her hand, is going to put it in their hand, and they're going to drink that wine too. So they're going to experience, you know, the, you know, the, the, what you call it, the judgment that came upon us. So the Lord is going to jar them up too. All right. Verse 42 says, then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind. I did cast them out as the dirt in the streets. So we're gonna whoop these people's asses, man. That came against the Lord, especially these heathens. They're gonna be put in check. They're gonna be what you say, chastised and straightened out. You know. And verse 43 also says, Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people. Thou hast made me the head of the heathen. A people whom I have not known shall serve me. All right. And that's one thing you have to remember. All right. Verse 43, Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people. All right. Because salvation is coming. It's on its way. You already have the words. Salvation just has been manifested. And thou hast made me the head of the heathen. All right. So we're going to be promoted. We're going to be delivered. And I'm going to be set over these nations. A people whom I have not known shall serve me. So you're going to have bondmen and bondwomen. It says kings and queens or whatever they want to call themselves. All these rich elites of the world, that have all the nations. The heathen, they shall serve us. They're going to be, field hands, and husbandmen or whatever. Working in the field and taking care of, livestock and all that. That's going to be their new responsibility, cooking and washing dishes and cleaning the house and, carrying property, you know, being butlers and cooks. So that's part of it. They're going to be in the so-called hospitality industry in the kingdom, you know. Right. So verse 44 says, As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me. And that's the beautiful thing that the Lord has promised to his elect. Total submission. Total submission. All right. By the heathen. Because you're going to be put in such a position of power where that the people, the people will fear you. The heathen, your servants, they're going to respect you and they're going to reverence you because they're going to see all that power and glory that the Lord is manifesting in you in the kingdom. All right, because right now all we just have is the words. We're speaking the words and it's having an effect on brothers, and brothers are doing their best to get right. So just imagine when that process is complete in the kingdom. You'd be so glad, and that's the reward that we are striving towards. Okay, so look at book of Psalms chapter 2. All right, verse 8. All right, it says, Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. So the earth is going to be given to us. All right, we're going to have total dominion, total control over the earth. Going to places where Esau cannot go because the Lord has shut it off from him, for him to access it. What above the earth and beneath the earth and on the earth. We're going to have access to all that. We're going to have access to all the riches and treasures and elements of the earth. All right. Even the universe. All right. So that's a beautiful thing that we are, hoping to have access to, man. Because just imagine, you go into places you've never seen in National Geographic, where water is clean, the creatures, look so terrible, but yet they're gentle, the ginormous, and all that. And they're going to be under your control. All right, so you're gonna be like, the ultimate zookeeper, all type of wild and exotic creatures. All right, if you want to, talk to a shark and pet a shark. You could do it that your children could swim, with all these wild creatures and nothing will happen to them. That's a level of comfort that's going to be upon us in the kingdom. No evil shall befall us. All right. And another precept from the book of Revelation, just like the Lord Yahweh Shai, promised to his elect. All right. It tells you in Revelation chapter 2, if you read verse 25 to 29, it says, but that which you have already hold fast till I come, which is the words that just read in Deuteronomy chapter 11, verses 22 and 23. The commandments, everything. It tells you the value of the word and the promises that comes with it. Okay? And it says you have to hold on to it. You have to keep that bargain that's been made, that contract, that agreement. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. All right, and that's one thing, the elites are looking to have, but they can't have it, because it's not the type that they really, really want. They want they want the ultimate power, ultimate power, which is the power that the Lord is going to give the Israelites, the elect. That's what they want. And that's why they're pushing so hard on the left hand side to try to depose the man of the Lord. And the Lord's not going to have it, all right? So the Lord's decision is final. The judge has already, made his verdict. Jacob have I loved and Esau has he hated, all right? So our nation of Israel, are put in a position to generate profit for the Lord. Esau had his time, but he ran the business into the ground. So the Lord has to, fix that, all right? And verse 27 says, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, all right? Proper doctrine, strictness of how to adhere to what is righteous, and then you're going to have that physical rod, to put them in check, to lay hold on them, As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. So you're going to tear them down, and then, you're going to put them back together. You're going to whoop them, scold them, just like you're whooping a child that's disobedient. They're going to be like children that you have to put in check. All right. They can't just do their own things. They're going to be under your guidance. All right. Even as I received of my Father. All right. And that's what you're gonna be. You're gonna be a shepherd. You gotta put the flock in shape. Just like the man of the Lord that called shepherds, they feed in the flock. Yeah, so you gotta make sure that nations, stick stick with what the plan on your plantation is. You know, you gotta put them in check. Make sure they do what they need to do. There is no so-called going astray and doing that. Doing my own thing in the kingdom. That's not the way to think. And the heathen are going to realize that. Okay? Verse 28 says, and I will give him the morning star. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. All right? So you're going to be excellent, man. You're going to be that, what people look up to, man. Because the morning star basically represents a higher level in this truth. Rulership, access to wisdom, dominion and all that. And that's what you're gonna be like, someone that's held in high regard. Okay, and that's one thing you have to keep in mind. All right, and final precept from the book of Matthew, chapter 13. I'm gonna read from Matthew chapter 13. Let's see, 45 to 46. It says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant seeking goodly pearls, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. All right. So that's what it's like, when you know that you're going to be part of a governing body in the kingdom of heaven, you're going to have access to power, power that the so-called elite can never imagine of, you know, things to do and just do it without any sweat, and all that. Your life will be balanced and it's going to be on course. It's going to be perfect. All right. And that's one thing, I can dream of, how the Lord is going to restore our nation. All right. Right. So that's what it is. When you're seeking this knowledge and you realize that there's more to it, and you realize that, what, I got to get with the program, then you start to make the sacrifice. Right? It says, verse 46 says, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Because when brothers wake up when they discover that this knowledge is the best of all, and that there's all the knowledge put together in this world cannot be measured towards it, you get with it. And that's what this parable is saying. One pearl of great price. And it says he went and sold all that he had. He made that sacrifice and he bought it. He put in the work. He put in the sweat, the diligence to acquire it, to obtain it. And that's what it's like when you're serving the Lord. You have to make your body a living sacrifice. You have to put away the mortal thoughts. Because when you put all these philosophies of this world together, and you combine them, and you look at them carefully, and then you compare it to the truth of the Holy Scriptures, they can't measure up, man, because the word of the Lord is above them all. All right? So that was the point that I came. You have to understand, you've been prepared for rulership. You've been prepared to have control of our nations and creatures. You've been prepared, to be a wise judge. All right? So don't neglect that opportunity. This is your goodly pearl, just like you see the brothers, had a video about the the golden tickets to the Willy Wonka chocolate factory that it has to be redeemed. Yep. And that's how it is when you're doing the work of the Lord. Once you find that opportunity, that's what it's about. And that's where they got the idea from these parables of the Holy Scriptures. So that was the point that I came. Hope you've been edified, and I pray that the Lord will continue to brighten your mind and make you grow in the truth. Shalom.